Hey everyone, Kevin here with an afternoon update for you on these stimulus packages. Specifically today, I want to talk about unemployment insurance. I'll touch a little bit on stimulus checks, EIDL, and PPP towards the end of the video, but I want to start off by talking about landlords, tenants, whether you have a mortgage or you have a small business or for some reason your income's gone down. Have you considered unemployment insurance? I know when we hear that, we're like, well, I'm not gonna qualify for that. Or a lot of us think, I've already been denied for that. Or I have multiple jobs and I've only lost one of my jobs. Or my income's only gone down 20%. Let me put it this way. The Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program that was approved in the CARES Act, that Stimulus Package 3 passed on March 27th, allows all of y'all to apply for unemployment insurance. So if you can't make your mortgage payment and you're thinking about going into forbearance and you're gonna get your credit shot, apply for unemployment. If you can't make your rent payment and you're trying to negotiate with your landlord and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I might have to move, apply for unemployment. Now, I know it's easy to say because the unemployment systems have been a nightmare. For example, in California, a lot of folks have applied for unemployment insurance 2-3 weeks ago and they got denied. Well, now the Labor Department of California, and this is actually what inspired this video, came out with a complete update. And they basically apologized for how crappy their system was. And now they're creating an entirely new system, which will be live at the end of this month. New York already has a system live. I know other states are making systems like this to really process payments quickly and efficiently. You know, it takes a little while for them to get up to speed. And I know it's been almost a month here and it's still gonna be another week or so. But take a look at some parts or take a listen to some parts of the letter for what California said, because this applies to the entire nation, because they're just referencing to parts of the CARES Act. They said the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program provides federally funded benefits distinct from the unemployment insurance program for certain individuals out of work or partially unemployed due to the crisis, including self-employed individuals who lack sufficient work history, independent contractors, sole proprietors, and gig economy workers. This includes like everybody. So what they're saying here is, look, we have our California or all of our states, it doesn't matter what state you are, I'm just using California as an example. We have unemployment insurance. Most of the time, only people who have like full-time jobs or pay into the system qualify for this. And then you have to actively look for work and it's a hassle and it's a pain. Well, a lot of those requirements are gone now. Now, under the PUA, the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program, self-employed people can apply. You don't have to look for work, and you can get $600 per week, even if you were only partially unemployed. Which, let's just think for a moment and define partially unemployed, because this is a question that I'm getting over and over and over again. People ask me, Kevin, I do Instacart, I do DoorDash, and I used to do 20 deliveries a night. Now I'm doing 10 because there's more competition. I don't know, more people are doing it or less people are ordering. I don't know, maybe you used to drive Uber, you did Airbnb or whatever, and your income has gone down 20% or it's gone down 70%. Apply for unemployment insurance. The quote, when in doubt, apply really matters here, but that's not the only thing that matters. The big thing that also matters is realizing you can actually apply for retroactive payments. I'm gonna read you, again, this is California's terms, California's Labor Department, I'll link this, but every state is following these rules because California's just citing the federal stuff. They just worded it really nicely. They said, the retroactivity, AKA the part of the CARES Act, the part of the national bill that applies to every state, says you're allowed to ask for money going back to when you were originally partially or fully unemployed. The way they worded it, the retroactivity means more money in people's pockets, and we are anxious to get that out. When you apply and your application is approved, you will get pandemic unemployment assistance benefits going back to the first full week of February, as long as you can show that your inability to work was related to the outbreak. So obviously, like, if you can work from home and you're a computer programmer and you can work for Google, but you just decided to cut your hours because you wanted to play with the kids at home or whatever, that's not gonna qualify, right? But I think they're just trying to prevent people who can still work from applying for this. But if you can't work because you have a small business and you're under a mandatory shutdown, or you lost a job, you got furloughed, you got laid off, or your hours got cut, or get this, you're still working at a job, but your boss says, hey, we're giving you a 25% haircut on your pay. Folks, apply. When in doubt, apply. Again, not all of these systems are going to be able to crank out your money right away. But when that money comes, it is a windfall that you are giving up if you're not applying for it, because you can get 13 weeks at $1,600 going retroactive. So even if you get it in 4 weeks, you get all that money going backwards. Remember, $600 times 13 weeks of federal assistance is $7,800. On top of that, you're going to get your state benefits, which in certain states like Florida is $285 on top of that. So for 13 weeks, you could actually get a total of $11,500. And state benefits continue beyond those 13 weeks. And I wouldn't be surprised if that 13 weeks of federal pandemic unemployment assistance actually ends up getting extended, because that's kind of what everybody's pushing for right now, is more money in people's pockets, especially people's pockets who need it. So I wouldn't be surprised if that 13 weeks gets extended. But for right now, if you're not applying, you are leaving 13 weeks of $600 a week on the table. And feel free to ask comments below, ask in the Discord. I'll gladly do another update on this, and we're going to talk about some other things now. But just realize, if you were previously denied because you're self-employed, 1099 contractor, you had another job, whatever, apply. These systems are starting to crank money out. A lot of states are starting to process these $600 plus the state benefits. And California says by the end of April, people should be able to instantly get paid, instantly, within 24 to 48 hours. And they're even issuing debit cards to people to try to get money out the door. The states aren't trying to screw people. They really want to get the money out. I know it doesn't feel that way right now. It feels very frustrating because the system's a mess. But if you've given up hope, don't. Try again. Let this video be that inspiration for you to get your $600 a week, because guess what this means for landlords and tenants? Most tenants who are unable to pay their rent today are often discouraged because they haven't been able to get their unemployment pay yet. I'd much rather see landlords and tenants work together waiting for unemployment benefits than somehow landlords just say, well, you owe all the rent. Make sure you pay all the rent, otherwise we're gonna sue you. No, we don't need this. Everybody just chill out, apply for unemployment insurance, and get it. And I don't want to say that there aren't problems out there right now or frustrations. I get it. We're waiting for the stimulus checks. The portals suck. It all sucks, okay? It all sucks. But this unemployment will come through. And so if you're in doubt or you're discouraged, apply. Because the $600, we're spending so much time, realistically, we're spending a lot of time talking about these proposed plans, like $2,000 per month of stimulus, or cancel rent, cancel mortgage. Golly, if your income's gone down, apply for unemployment. That's $600 a week. There you go. That's really good. That's better than the other ones. That's $2,400 in a 4-week or 1 month period. That's good. Now, the only downside to keep in mind when it comes to unemployment insurance is that unemployment is taxable. So you'll want to consider setting aside, a quarter to 40% of that money for taxes in the future. And so keep that in mind. You can't spend the whole $600. Now, a few other questions that came up. For stimulus checks, if you did not qualify in 2018 or 19, or you didn't file and you're not going to file or whatever, and you're not getting your stimulus check, realize you can still get that money. It'll just apply to your 2020 tax return if you do qualify in 2020. This issue came up again. I'm just going to quickly reiterate it. If you didn't get paid your $500 for a child, expect a letter from the IRS within 15 days after you've received your stimulus check, and you'll be able to dispute that lack of $500 using the information in that letter. Now, a lot of folks have been wondering, how do I apply for the PPP? I'm a sole proprietor, and the bank is asking me for a Form 941 or 944. This is a payroll form. A lot of sole proprietors don't pay themselves a payroll. What you need to do is you need to submit your 2018 and potentially your 2019 taxes so that you could show, hey, I didn't pay myself a payroll, but this is my income. Look at the first pages here of my tax return. They'll show wages, commissions, tips, corporate income, whatever, sole proprietor income. It's all listed there, and they can divide that income out and determine a payroll using your tax return. The same goes for if I had this other question question was in the Discord. Somebody asked, hey, what do I do if I'm a corporation and I pay myself a reasonable salary? Like, let's say you pay yourself a $40,000 salary, but then you took another $20,000 in distributions. You technically paid yourself a $60,000 payroll there. And the way you figure that is by looking at your tax return and going, okay, $60,000 divided by 12. There you go, $5,000 per month. So using your tax return is very, very important, especially if you don't have those payroll forms they're asking for. Realize also a lot of banks are kind of just throwing out some quick response emails going, all right, well, I don't see the 941 in here, the 941, send that to me. And then they move on to the next application because they're overwhelmed. I totally get it. Apply for unemployment in the meantime. I'm serious, like even partially unemployed. If you're a realtor and you sold one less house, apply. The worst that's gonna happen is they're gonna say no. I'm not making guarantees here. Just saying y'all wanna apply. And for those of you, a lot of you were asking, hey, can I apply for that EIDL, that extra sort of potential stimulus check that is a grant if you have a small business or side hustle? The only requirement is that you're in business before February 15th. Somebody asked a question in the Discord chat link below and they said, hey, Kevin, I started a business 2 months ago. Do I qualify? As long as you were in business prior to February 15th. You do. And now in other news, I heard some crazy insights that there were actually potentially landlords spying on tenants' stimulus checks to see if they got their stimulus checks and now they're harassing tenants for rent. Totally illegal, the wrong thing to do. Don't do that if you're a landlord. I highly encourage if you're a landlord and you've got tenants not able to pay, rent, open a dialogue with tenants. Tenants, open a dialogue with your landlord. We're all human here. We all got to work on this together. Really, the saving grace for all of us, that unemployment insurance. You got a couple or something like that, and both of you are partially unemployed, and you both end up getting that unemployment insurance. And I know it's, we're gonna get comments going, I applied and I still haven't gotten it, or I got denied. Look, if you got denied, reapply. If you just applied, I know you're gonna have to probably wait a little bit. But once it comes, it's paying you retroactively. So work something out with your landlord. Hey, the second I get paid from unemployment, can I catch up? Can I pay you half of May right now and then pay you the second half of May on May 15th after I get that retroactive distribution for unemployment? This unemployment thing is something we're not talking about enough. Now, I've also been getting a lot of questions in the chat below. Kevin, this is great, like fine, I'll get made par with a stimulus check or I'll get unemployment insurance, but how do I get out of this paycheck to paycheck situation? Why is it that when I drive Uber and I work my butt off driving Uber or, delivering groceries or stuff for Target or working at Jamba Juice or Red Robin or at the restaurant, whatever, why is it that I can't get ahead? I have the answer for you. I used to do taxi service work before there was Uber. I worked at Hollister making $7 an hour, Jamba Juice making $8 an hour, and I got a 5-cent raise, and I worked at Red Robin making $9 an hour. And guess what I realized at all of those jobs? Making an extra $1 an hour wasn't going to make anything happen in my life. And so how do we get to that magical passive income that everybody really, really wants so we could just retire already and live on the beach? Well, here's the steps. Right now, if we're at zero and we're trying to get made whole or par by this stimulus and that, we should be taking this time and asking ourselves, what can we do to work in a business or field where we have a much higher potential of income? I took my real estate license test within like 2 months of doing some stupid little tests online and flashcarding to memorize the dumb test. And then I was a licensed real estate professional. And in 2011, it took me 10 months to sell one property. But in those 10 months of zero income from real estate, while I was still working at Red Robin bussing tables, I ended up making enough money to cover my entire year of expenses with one sale 10 months into the year, somewhere around October or November of 2011. And that made me realize if in one deal, I could replace all of my earnings from Red Robin or Jamba Juice or working hourly, why am I not doing more of this? And then I started selling more. Then I did 2 deals. Then I did 5 deals. Then I did 7 deals. Then I did 12 deals a year. Then I did 30 deals a year. You gotta build your own snowball. So if we wanna get out of this sort of trap of having zero money and being to paycheck, use this time in quarantine, use this time of unemployment to think, what can we do to maximize our actual income? And the best and easiest way to do that is find a professional license that you can get. Either you start a business doing loans, you get your loan license. Maybe you are a loan signing agent. Maybe you can make a real estate agent. Or you know what? You open a Matterport scanning business. I did a video on that. Only after we bump our income can we invest and expect passive income. I think oftentimes we expect we can go from 0 to passive income, but that's winning the lottery. So use this time in quarantine, use this unemployment insurance. Hopefully you didn't mind me hijacking this to share this and sort of my own personal experience. With that said, make sure you go to the links down below. Get your 2 free stocks with Webull. When you deposit just $100, you get 2 free stocks with Webull worth up to $1,400. You get a free quote for life insurance. Heck, you could even sign up on your phone in Apple Pay within 5 minutes from your phone. And of course, if you want to learn how to invest, if you're ready to build your wealth, consider joining me in the programs down below. But in the meantime, seriously, ask yourself and think to yourself, what kind of professional license can I get so that my income, instead of being around $10, $20, $30, $40,000 a year, I could start looking at numbers like $50, $60, $70, $100, $150, $200,000 a year. And then align yourself to that target.